Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever part of the world you may be in. Thank you for tuning in to another daily Light Point. We've been unpacking this topic around leadership identity this week. And call it my soapbox this morning, but I want to speak to leadership identity in the context of the commitment that we make when we decide that we want to be a leader, right? So identity, right? Identity is about how we see ourselves relative to our leadership role and how we want others to see us, right? So in the context of that, I really challenge you to ask yourself a question. When you think about this role of leadership and how you want people to see you, I want you to connect back to someone in your life, personally or professionally, who you considered to be a leader. Doesn't matter if they had the title of leader. Who showed up in your life with whom you decided they are a leader to me? How you identified them as a leader. What were their traits? What were their attributes that made you connect to the role of leader in your life in some way? I want to challenge you to consider that as you think about your own identity. There are specific behaviors, there are specific actions that one takes when they show up as the leader in someone else's life. There's a sacrifice that comes with that. There's a commitment that comes with that. There's a humility that comes with that. And I get really frustrated when people almost reference this term of leadership in a very passive manner, almost to normalize it in a way that doesn't come with the weight of responsibility that true leadership of people includes. The responsibilities of leading others go far and beyond any title or any technical consideration of what it means to be a leader. How did these people show up? When I think about the leaders in my life, they exhibited a care and concern beyond themselves. They reached out when no one was asking, when no one was looking. They provided support, guidance, motivation, insights. They move with the level of confidence and authority around their life, what they do, what they don't do. They acknowledge their failures and their weaknesses. They didn't harp on them, but they spoke to them in the context of how they learned from them or the humility that those failures brought to them. When I think about the leaders who showed up in my life, they owned the role without ever having to necessarily profess it in such a succinct way. Because it wasn't about what they said, it's about what they did. It's not about what they were, it's about who they were. Those people stood out to me as leaders in my life. So when I think about my own leadership identity, I think about how am I perpetuating those same experiences? Because at a minimum, my standard should be, well, what stood out to me for others? Because that's how I identified them as leaders. So similarly, how am I doing the same? So I encourage you to reflect on those individuals who stood out to leaders for you as you start to shape your own identity or reflect on your own identity as a leader. I'd love to hear some comments about those individuals. If you want to shout them out, maybe they're on LinkedIn right now. Maybe they never knew how much they stood out in your life as a leader or how they influenced you as a leader. This is a great opportunity to say, hey, just so you know, I see you. And it's because of those behaviors, it's because of those interactions that now it helps me connect to my own identity as a leader. With that being said, thanks for tuning in to another Daily LightPoint. We'll continue to unpack this conversation around leadership identity this week. Real leaders, real talk, real time.